ain't the worst thing ever. I could think of worse things. Still have a cough. Jeffrey, I tell you what, I don't wish that on anybody. Tell you what, yeah, it is a real drag coming down with the flu. Technically, this is my second day back. I just didn't want to go around changing all the stream titles and everything, so. Definitely not 100%, but we're definitely going to push ourselves today. You know, yesterday I just rode, and what little pushing I did here and there kind of like activated this, kicked this all in. So today I'm going to intentionally try to push myself, kind of see where we're at, and try to get this thing loosened up. I kind of thought about pulling up a workout, jumping in that, either jump in a workout or maybe find an event and push myself, you know. We'll take a look here. Let me get things kind of moving and rolling, and I can already tell that just trying to get going, things are wanting to flare up. So let's just find something to do for now. And I'll start looking at the event list. I had the day off. Hang on. I had the day off and did a group ride earlier today on Zwift. Where is my, oh there it is. I always forget when you delete an app off your phone today, like everything shifts. So like everything's not exactly where I remember it being. All right, let me take a quick glance through the event list. 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Everything's at 4 o'clock. What time is it? Oh, okay. All right, so there's the Zwift Games at 4:10. You know, I suppose I could always just jump in and, you know, it just simply is what it is. It's like, it could be a good thing, and then on the other hand, it could be a complete crap storm, right? What do y'all think? Should I sign up for Zwift Games? It's a score-based event, so climb of the day. Ugh. You must think I don't like myself. Can always not do it if you hate it. I don't know, I'd rather do the Zwift games than... Even though I technically already finished the course. Did I do this one already? I think I did this course already. I think I purposely did the course so I wouldn't feel like I would need to do it in a race. Oh, okay, that's yeah. Okay. I thought you meant go do the climb of the day, and then if I hate it, I would hate it even just clicking on climb of the day. I already feel like definitely pushing myself here, like even on the warm-up. We're feeling pretty good. All right, my finger's gonna tap the plus button. Join the event. Should I do it? Should I do it or not? Look. Oh. I don't even think it's so much about that's what I'm more worried about than anything. Kind of getting in the flow and everything, and then off topic, I got ISP to send me a new modem router. Let's see if that fixes it. That should help. Why, now let me ask you, maybe this is perhaps just a Canada thing. Why, like here, yes, I can rent a modem and router from the company, but usually most people buy their own routers and buy their own modems and buy their own routers. So, is that not a thing there? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like anytime they make changes, you know, I can always just go buy the next version or the next iteration, you know. And you still have to buy them? You got banned from Zwift. I'd like to know how. I couldn't see. I mean, I'd have to really think about like what you would have to do to get banned from this platform. I mean, seriously, what? I mean, you could cheat if you were in an official event and you type, wait, hold on. Are you gonna say it's based off of something you chatted? Oh my gosh. Whew. Are you, so Llama Gamer? Are you being legit? Are you, like, don't get me wrong, I do know that there are a lot of platforms out there. Like Call of Duty announced a long time ago that they were going to have AI monitor the chat to help combat, you know, whatever you want to call it. Is there any, let me ask you this. Is there any recourse? Like, have you contacted them? I mean, I don't. But let me ask you this here though, Dimitri, so on your topic, what about it specifically? Just saying you're from, I'm trying to be careful because now I don't know if YouTube, I know I'm not on TikTok, so I know I can't say it because I do know TikTok hears the words you're saying. Because now you got me on the edge thinking like, well, don't say that. But still, I can understand in high level, so I am back on the road, okay. And it's all good, you know, I mean, there are other options, right? I just don't see how, I don't want to make it sound like I don't understand why, but what specifically prompted that a ban versus a warning, discussion? You know what I mean? It's a little bit different than just coming out and saying something like just way off the charts. I'm trying not to give an example because, but I think hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. Like, you're saying something in relation to it but you're not specifically saying that you're doing this thing, you know? Sorry for sounding so being vague, but so unfortunately that's like what society has driven us to, where, oh yeah, I would think lava, so like I'm on board with that. Oddball, like most of the time I ignore everything that's on there anyways, you know? But I could also see where somebody that maybe has been a victim of that crime, has relation to someone that has been a victim of that crime, and just takes complete offense to the nature of it altogether, you know? I don't know. Now you got me thinking, like every time I jump in a race, I always have this same little script that I write every time. Now you got me thinking, like, somebody might report me for that. Not that I think what I'm saying is bad, but it's pretty, I think it's funny. Most people jump along with the joke. It's true. It's true. Oh. Well, Lava, I think it's a bummer on a couple of fronts. All right, Lava, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate the discussion. Yeah, I hate that that's just like that, like just in some ways I get the sentiment, I totally understand. But a part of me would be like, hey, let me email somebody and say, hey, what exactly did I get banned for? You know, some discussion around it. Yeah, I don't know either, Dimitri. I don't think I've ever put myself that I think that close to crossing the line, if that was even crossing the line, to worry about, oh, I could get banned off of Zwift. Now I have thought that I could, back when I was racing and, you know, legit racing where you have to do weigh-ins and power files and all that, like, those always kind of cautioned me on making sure I was following the rules, you know, so you don't get banned from pro amateur cycling. Wow. D. What's happening? Now, pretty interesting. These Kate came in here and talking about that. That's such an interesting topic, you know. like seriously, I didn't expect him to put that. Like, I'm thinking, like, how do you get yourself banned on Zwift? Well, I guess you can say things that people can report you on, for one thing, which is why I generally do not chat in Zwift anyways, you know? Not because of that, I just don't. Like, the only thing I do is that thing that I do before every race, where I type in the, hey, got official announcement, when the timer goes to 0, stop pedaling, I'm gonna go ahead, go check the course for your safety, I will let you know when to start. You are welcome. Like, that's about all I ever type in Zwift chat, that's it. I'm starting to second guess myself on if I should have signed up for a race. Google people have complained. Hold on, quick. Google people have complained about getting banned, but again, I've not read the TOS on Zwift. Honestly, don't think anyone has read it. Yeah, I know I haven't. I mean, seriously, who has read a TOS? I can only think of a handful of TOS that I've actually looked at because I wanted to know some specifics. But how many times have you signed up for anything and you just sign up anyways, even though you know there's a TOS? I think that's pretty commonplace because most people are kind of trusting in that TOS are kind of general as far as like, I think people mostly know good versus bad behavior, antics, speech, whatever. So I don't know. What a crazy topic. I mean, I've seen a few people post like some things in the chat that I'm thinking like, buddy, you probably ought to not be saying things like that. I need this, whatever it is in my neck to loosen up. Yeah, that's still a tough sell though. Without, like, I don't know, and I don't know if what's his name, Lama? I don't know if he's still here or not, but you know, it's like, did you get a notice? Did you get an email? Or was it just straight up, boom, bam, you can't log in, you know? There's so many questions. True, yeah. They could have looked at some characteristic, I don't know. Dimitri, like I said, I'm cautious to make assumptions without asking questions. But I don't disagree with that process. I just noticed my camera is out of whack again. Go on, camera. This new Insta360 software has been an absolute pain in the ass. Come on, man. Bobby, what's happening? I am a little better. We're gonna try out a race here. We're gonna push ourselves a little bit today. I may regret the choice, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna push ourselves today. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully it won't be like yesterday. Yesterday I was barely pushing at all, and any amount of effort I put down, it would just really kind of aggravate everything, and I'd start coughing. I don't know why my shoulders are so tense. I can't relax. Like, I just can't get in just a nice, balanced, comfy position and just relax. I'm like, ugh. It's almost like white knuckle driving. My shoulders are like tense. Let's not start that. All right, buddy, I'm gonna jump off real quick, use the restroom, put a little butter on, and fan. Okay. Oh, it's right here. Oh my God. Ah! Oh, I can't figure out this one. Right here. There's my message, everybody. Let's see if that gets me banned. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Back in the saddle, day 2. After recovering from the flu. Let's see what kind of disaster this is gonna be. Holy moly, there's people out there doing 8 watts per kilo. Is this all together? No. I don't know. I'm gonna be able to keep this up. Not too bad for coming off the flu. Boy. AL. It was actually a decent race. I felt like for it being a Zwift point based, it felt like it was one of the first Zwift point races in a long time that felt somewhat evenly matched, you know? You look at the top podium guy, was forget the name, something Alessandro, like he finished the race at only like 2.7 watts per kilo maybe. Instead of these low level score races where people are finishing at 3.4, 3.6, like I said, I was surprised I was able to hang in there, but it was just simply because I think that it was like the first race that where the Zwift racing score felt somewhat even matched. Hey, Kinda Techie, thanks. Were you in the race? You know, I'm tired of like doing these races that Like you're in the bottom category, and yet people are finishing the podium spots at like 3.4, 3.6 watts per kilo. Let's see here. Hang on, your chat is getting cut off on my screen here. Hang on. I finished second. It was a photo finish for second. It did 2.7 as well. Nice. I was just talking about that technique. It's like I don't really race anymore. First of all, let me just put that out there. I surrendered my license in 2023, so I don't race anymore due to health reasons. And so I went from racing as a high-level B racer, category A sometimes, to bottom of the level, D. And then they introduced this whole Zwift score racing score thing. And the whole low level, which is technically D, I mean, it seems like every race, people are finishing at like 3.4, 3.6 watts per kilo, which are, those are watts per kilo for C level racing. Because B, category C would cap out at 3.2. And then after 3.2, you go to B. But that was the first race in a long time. I don't know if there were people just sandbagging, whatever the case may be. I don't want to like, it just felt like, holy shit, I'm probably not going to get dropped. And granted, this is me coming off of like day 2 of recovering from the flu. And I was like, I actually finished, I made it to the finish line with a lead group. Holy crap. It's been a minute. Well, I tried to get up there and get you a live photo finish, so I don't know what. I'll have to go back and watch the video. I don't know what it actually captured. I know I could see you all up in the distance, like at the finish line, for sure. So what I'll do is, when I'm finished with this, I'll go straight to my office and I will clip out the race session and post that as a separate video, so you don't have to dig through it through the live stream video. I think I coughed maybe one time during that race. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. I was full well expecting to cough a lung up during that race, and I didn't. I don't think anyone wanted to go out for a breakaway because it was too evenly matched. Then we got, yeah, for sure. If you saw me up ahead at all, the only reason why I do that, I do the same thing in real life when I was racing. I always try to be the first over the top of a short climb, so that way I don't risk getting dropped when the field comes past me. That was the only reason why those couple of climbs where I was out ahead, that was the only reason why I was out there. Because I've even had it happen to me on Zwift, not just real world, but oh boy. All right, let's put the regular screen on versus the racing screen. Did I win? No, Dimitri, but I managed to stay with the lead group to the finish, and I got 14th place. And I didn't cough up a lung. How about that? I'm pretty excited. Felt pretty good. Dimitri is probably the first low-level Z Racing Score race that I'm actually not going to complain. How about that? It seemed one of the rare evenly matched Zwift Racing Score races. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to call it a night here. I think we got about a 20-minute, 25-minute, 30-minute warm-up ride. I think it was close to 30 minutes of racing. I think it was a little less. Might have been like less than 25 minutes of racing. I don't know. We'll see when I cut the video out. Overall, good ride. I can almost confidently say I may have officially recovered from this flu. Oh. All right, everybody. That's gonna do it for me. I'm gonna wait till I top out this hill here. Thank everybody for watching the streams. Look for the video of the race. I'll try to get it posted tonight. It'll be real quick. It's a matter of just going in really quick, grabbing the live stream, cropping to the beginning and ending or finish. Post it, save it as a new video, and boom, it'll be out there. That's gonna do it for me tonight, everybody. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. We'll be back in here tomorrow. I don't know that I'll be jumping in another race or anything, but I will say that it felt good. Definitely, I finally feel like I may have recovered from this flu. Boy, I would not wish that on anybody. That was last week was probably it was just a bad week. Especially the first 3 days of it. Oh man. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that was I don't even want to say the thoughts that were going on in my head, but they're not good. Well, here we are, we're over it. Even got a little racing. So, all right, good night, everybody. We'll see y'all.